Welcome gamers to this week's vlog, and I really hope you had a fantastic Christmas. So with only 4 days remaining now in the Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge and still a lot of games to get through, this week I only managed to get 3 platinums, which was a bit disappointing due to getting stuck on one particular game. More about that in a moment, but let's first of all see what games I have been playing and what platinums I did earn this week. My first platinum this week is for Headbangers in Holiday Hell and completes the final special date challenge in the Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge due to it containing a trophy name with the word Christmas in it. This fun little twin stick roguelike shooter, developed by Vicolane and Hammer and Ravens, was released in 2020, and you play as the leader of a Headbangers Brotherhood that is trying to save his fellow club members that have all actually been captured by Santa and his evil elves due to being guilty of not having succumbed to last year's consumerist Christmas frenzy, as you didn't buy, receive or gift enough presents, and you also committed the worst crime of all, not buying and wearing a Christmas jumper. So, accompanied by some banging heavy metal music, you arm yourself with a water balloon firing pistol and other weapons like potato guns, flamethrowers and fireworks, and you set off to the North Pole where you fight your way through hordes of maniac elves to free your heavy metal brethren. The game is a lot of fun to play, but has a pretty easy and short trophy list, with the platinum easily achievable without actually completing too many of the game's levels. I had a really good fun time playing this game and will probably look to pick it up and play again in a future festive periods and see how far I can actually get and if I'm able to fully complete the game or not, but just for fun, without obviously the additional time constraints of a trophy challenge going on. The second platinum of the week that I earned was for Asterix and Obelix XL, the Ram from Hibernia. Based on the original French Asterix the Gaul comic books, this is one of the many games that's been released over the years based on the classic duo of Roman bashing Gauls. This particular game was released in 2022 and sees our protagonists, Asterix and Obelix, along with their pet Dogmatix, travel to Hibernia, which is the Latin name for the modern day Republic of Ireland. And they're there to help push back the invasion of the Roman Empire and rescue a beloved golden ram that was stolen by the Romans so that they can return it to the local village chief, Whiskey Tonics. Like most of the other Asterix and Obelix games, the gameplay style is that of a third-person beat-em-up, and it includes 6 different main story areas to play through. Each of these story areas also contains a sub-area known in the game as a camp, whereby once you enter you're also given a set number of challenges to take on, with you being awarded a bronze, silver or gold medal for meeting their various requirements. These camps can also be repeated independently after you've completed the game, and for 1 trophy you're required to earn all 24 medals that are available, with 4 different ones awarded for each of the 6 different camps. Those of you that have been following the Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge in the past few weeks will know that it is these gold medals that prove to be pretty difficult to achieve, with many retries needed to get good enough to earn all of them. The game can also be played in couch co-op, and my final trophy needed to get the platinum was for earning a specific gold medal while playing couch co-op, which I'm pleased to say I was able to do on Boxing Day. I've been a big fan of the original Asterix the Gaul comics ever since I was a kid, and I really enjoy playing through their games and would like to complete the full PSN Profiles game series, which currently consists of 15 platinums, with this one being the second one that I have now earned. The third and final platinum that I earned this week was for Nightbook. This live-action interactive occult thriller movie contains branching narratives and multiple endings and sees you play as our protagonist Laureline, who works as an online English-French interpreter that is tricked into reading from an ancient book that results in her summoning a demon that tries to possess a variety of the game's different characters. As the story progresses, the decisions that you make will affect the way the story will play out, and there's a variety of different endings to unlock. This interactive movie also contains some pretty mature content which carries a warning at the start that it's not appropriate for people of all ages or possibly suitable for everyone due to the nature of the content on some of the different story branches, which some people actually may find quite disturbing. Being a horror fan, I really enjoyed playing through this game first on a blind playthrough, with subsequent playthroughs using a text guide as a reference for the different narrative paths that are needed to unlock all the various different trophies. The game is not difficult and a full blind through does not really take that long, but with 15 different ending variations and a total of 220 different scenes available to view across the various different narrative paths, there's also some replayability. However, they've also provided a skip option for any scene that has already been viewed at least once in a previous playthrough if you wish to use it, which you're likely to make use of later on through other playthroughs when you've watched a specific scene a number of times. This game also now completes the letter N for my Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge game name alphabet. So let's now do a quick recap of all the trophies that I've earned this week, looking at the PSN Profiles trophy log. And you can see as of Monday I started prepping the Headbangers in Holiday Hell, getting that all ready for Christmas Day, with the top trophy there you can see being called Video Killed the Christmas Star. So that's what makes it count for the Christmas special date, because it has the word Christmas in the trophy name. After getting that all prepped, I then moved on to one more dungeon, which is a fantastic little game, but is proving to be much more difficult than I was anticipating. So I'd had this on my backlog with just 1 or 2 trophies popped from a few years ago where I was playing it for a different challenge, and at the beginning of this year I did boot it up and started to try and do the cleanup. Didn't get very far at that point and I sort of moved on to something else. So I thought, oh, I'll try and get this done towards the end of the challenge, and essentially this week I thought I'd get it done in one gaming session. As the sort of guide on PSN Profiles says, it's a 6 out of 10 but only about a 7-hour platinum, and that proved to be very misleading because this game is much harder for me than a 7-hour platinum, and so far I've actually been playing probably over 25 hours on it and I still got the very hard playthrough to actually get through. So anyone that has actually seen Mystic's recent 30 Plats in 30 Days video that he released this week will see that he actually played this one on the Vita and noted in that video that the Vita version has an exploit that he was able to use where you can duplicate and get infinite amounts of health potions, making the game much easier. But the PS4 version, which is the version that I am playing, doesn't have that exploit to be able to take advantage of. So it's much harder, which he also notes in his video. And I can vouch for the fact that it is particularly difficult to get through. And I think the 7 hours or game time is very misleading, because so far I've probably put at least 24-25 hours into the game, and I've only just completed the first of 2 playthroughs that are needed. The first playthrough you have to use a specific type of modifier and you get a choice of 2 different ones. The one I chose changes the screen colouring, which doesn't make it particularly difficult, but it's still a very difficult game to get through due to the roguelike element of it and the fact that you can't take too many hits before you die. But if you were able to exploit the health potions, you'd just be able to keep popping those to keep your health at maximum. Unable to do that in the PS4 version. I found it quite tough to get through some of the dungeons. But moving on to the next sort of second playthrough, you've got to get through the game using a modifier that is either one where you lose health constantly, where if you are using the exploit you can just keep topping it up, which trivializes it, or you can try and attempt to do it with only taking 1 hit before you die. So essentially you have to go through flawless. So I've just started on that playthrough and I hope to try and get that done before the end of the challenge, but it's proving to be very difficult and much more difficult than I was anticipating, and it's certainly a lot longer than I was anticipating. So it has really set me behind on what I was planning to get done ready for the end of the challenge, which is giving me a lot more games I now need to complete in the last 4 days. Moving on from that, I then got to Christmas Day, and on Christmas Day I did pop the platinum for Headbangers in Holiday Hell. Then I moved on to Asterix and Obelix XL because I had that one trophy remaining where I needed someone to be here to help me with the couch co-op to get that gold medal, and did that on Boxing Day when I had other members of my family here. And then I moved on to Nightbook, which I played through in its entirety in one long sitting. It wasn't a particularly difficult game, very good fun. Does get a little bit repetitive in the sort of playthroughs you do with 15 different endings and things. There's some replayability, but some of the scenes are the same each time because they only differ slightly towards certain branches, so you do get quite a lot of repeats, so you can skip those, which actually sort of like speeds it up a little bit. But overall, I really enjoyed it. It was quite a good fun little story and quite a good little game. Haven't played one of these sort of film interactive type games for a very long time, so it was quite fun to go through. And I got the platinum on that in the early hours of this morning. So my daily streak is covered for today, and that means there's only 3 days left for me to maintain that streak to complete that challenge. But after recording this, I'll be getting back on to trying to get one more dungeon done, and also then move on to the other games that are outstanding. So let's have a quick recap of everything that's been done so far on the Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge and what I've got left to do, and is it possible for me to do that. So taking a look at the Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge tracking spreadsheet, which if you want to take a look at your own leisure, then please feel free to follow the link in the description as I update it constantly every game I complete. And then essentially you can see I'm on 92 out of 100 platinums, so I've got 8 more platinums to get before the end of the year, which is in 4 days. That's going to be a tall feat anyway, but I'm going to do my best to get as many as I can. Then the gold, silver, bronze and ultra rare platinums is complete. The ultra rare trophies, I still need another 24, which is going to be tough to get with the games I had planned, but we'll see how far I can get with that. The trophy streak is 362 at the moment, as I have got a platinum for today, and essentially there's 3 more days I need to go to complete that challenge. And the completion percentage increase to get a 10% increase over the year, I'm actually bang on 9% at 86.4%, so 1% to go. Just see whether that's possible with the remaining games I am able to get done. Then coming down to the backlog games, so this is where I'm struggling a bit because the games that I've sort of got to choose from are the ones that are now starting to give me a few problems with how long they're taking. I've got sort of 7 left, one of which is already sort of prepped and ready to go, so there's 6 that I still need to actually sort of get done. And the problem is with these is that some of them are actually more difficult than others and taking much longer than I was anticipating, so it's really delaying everything. One more dungeon as example, and then obviously Kayak VR is one that I've already started to have a go at, but it's quite a physically demanding game. So again, do I have enough time to be able to get that done, being that the trophies remaining are quite difficult as well. I blanked a couple out because they're games I just don't think I'm going to get done, so I'm going to have to try and swap them out for maybe shorter games if I've got the time to do them. Alien Isolation is prepared, so that one's okay. It's just a case of waiting to get to the other 8 platinums out of the way so I can pop this as my 350th platinum. The special dates is now all complete, with that Christmas one all being done this week. Then moving across, we can see that the game series was all completed, the 100% non-platinum games all completed, and as reported previously, the difficulty challenge of 1 to 10 is all completed. Looking at the game lengths, I did have the 21 to 30 hours outstanding as well as the 31 to 40. So with the 31 to 40 I had earmarked Alien Isolation, so hopefully that will be done before the end of the challenge if I can get the others all set up and ready. But the 21 to 30 hours, going through a list of all the games I've played so far, I noticed that The Escapist actually qualifies for that particular game length. So I had actually completed that without realising. I'd earmarked the Castlevania Lords of Shadow to be the game that completes that, but hadn't realised that I'd already completed that challenge with a different game. So I've changed the name of the game because that's now complete. Then looking at the console Grand Slam, just the 2 PSVRs and the PS Move to do, which I'm hoping I can try to get done in the next 4 days. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and see how I get on with that. As for the alphabet, I've still got the J, R, Y and Z for the platinum name alphabet, and moving across I've got the K and number for the game name alphabet still outstanding. I did have the N complete this week with Nightbook. That's replacing the one that I was originally going to do, which was Need for Speed. Really just swapped that out due to time restraints on the Need for Speed that I still need to do. However, that was a backlog game, whereas Nightbook isn't, so it means I'm one short on the backlog completion. But I'm still looking to try and complete as many of the individual challenges as I can, and I want to try and get both alphabets done if I can, even if it means swapping out the games I've currently got earmarked for something that might be a little bit easier to manage than what I've currently got. Obviously still staying in the rules of not having anything that's got a platinum rarity over 85%, so no shovelware games. Coming down on the genre list, we've got the non-fiction, which will also be the one that I'll be doing for the number on the game name. And then the Zombie Tycoon 2, which is the real-time strategy. And the problem is with that is there's very few games I could swap it out for that are actually short. Most of them are quite long, and time being the big factor. It's, do I buckle down and try and get this done, which is a game that is actually quite tough and I was struggling with when I last played it, or do I just try and swap it out and see if I can get another game done, even though it might be a bit longer? And then of course we come down to the special challenges, and this is the biggest problem for me, and that is the oldest game on my backlog, which of course is a game I cannot swap out because I have to do the oldest game that's available to me, and that is Castlevania Lords of Shadow. And essentially that's one that I think is going to be probably a little bit too much of a ask to get done, because I've only got 4 days left. I'm still at the sort of, maybe about a quarter or a bit less than a quarter of the way through the first playthrough, and it needs 2 playthroughs, and it's a fairly long, difficult game anyway, and it sort of takes time getting used to the controls because it's a PS3 game. It's quite clunky, and I think even just concentrating only on that game for the next 4 days, there's still no guarantee I could get it done. So my plan is to get as many of the other games done as I can, to get as many of the challenges complete. And if I fall short on time, then this is going to be the game that will be the last one I will try to complete. So it just depends on how many hours left by the time I get round to giving this one a go, depending on how I get all the other games done. So we'll see how I get on. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to be going till the very last minute on New Year's Eve to try and get as many of these challenges complete as possible. But there's a lot to ask, a lot of games and a lot of trophies still need to be earned to be able to complete the entire challenge, and we'll just see how I get on. As you can see, I've put in red here the Castlevania Lords of Shadow. Probably not enough time, but we'll see how I get going with it. I've earmarked the other games. Of course, any of these games I could possibly swap out for completing a challenge. So if it's something that's the alphabet, I might swap it for something if that means that I can do it. But essentially it means that some of these will be then not completing the backlog, and with 7 backlog games and not many choices on the backlog, that's another sort of challenge that is currently at risk based on the fact that I need to try and add more to it anyway. So that's where I'm at with the challenge at the moment. It's going to be a huge ask to get the whole challenge completed, but I will be going and doing as much as I can to get as many of the different challenges complete by the end of this year. So tune in next week to see how I got on and see whether I managed to get all of it done or only got a few more done, and see where I ended up and how many points that I got over the whole overall challenge. So that's it for another week's vlog, and I really hope you enjoyed it. As always, I want to take this opportunity to say a very big thank you to all of these gaming legends that you can currently see on screen, who are my community members, and for the extra level of support that they give to the channel. But a big thank you to everyone out there that likes and subscribes to the channel. And also, I love reading all of your comments and reply to every single one. So please let me know what games you're playing and what platinums you've been earning over the Christmas period. With all that being said, it just leaves me to say a very happy new year to everybody, and I will see you all in 2026. So enjoy your games, take care and look after yourselves.